What's up, everybody? Rob K here, and I finally did it. I finally pressed go live, and I'm doing my first live YouTube recording, and I'm proud of myself. Boy, it took a while to get here. You know, us Gen Xers, we weren't raised to sort of just jump in front of the camera and start talking. I know millennials and Gen Z, y'all just have an easier time doing it, but I'm glad I'm here. And I just want to be of service, help people, provide a place for some grounding, some inspiration, some hope, some enthusiasm, which I've heard is to be filled with spirit. And yeah, I'm a psychic life coach, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. And I channel messages from people's spirit guides with insight into the past, the present, and the future. So I do psychic life coaching, and that's what I want to do on this channel. Just help people using my voice and my words, and just try and help people out. I think people really need it right now. I think the day to day life on Earth can be challenging. I've heard Earth is the school of hard knocks, and it's a tough planet to live on. Um, and mainly because there's a lot of pain here, and we grow through pain, and we choose this planet as souls to learn and grow a lot in a short period of time. I know in my lifetime I've been doing that, and I think that a lot of us who are spiritually minded and focused on self improvement and self growth, we're trying to learn and grow. Whenever I'm going through anything, my main message that I get is what's the lesson here? What can I learn? That's usually what I'm asking spirit about. So yeah, just gonna hang out here a bit, see what happens. Maybe some people jump on. If not, that's cool. What I'm trying to do is just introduce myself to the world and empower myself to get my message out there of hope and light and love and kindness, and try and be of service to people. I find that every day I'm just trying to make a difference in the world. And again, there's so much hate going on, so much fighting and fear and agendas and egos and greed and people grabbing for more and more and more. I think we forget about our brothers and sisters and just saying, "Morning, how are you?" and really listening to what they have to say. And that's what I want to do here. I want to ask how people are, listen to what they have to say, and maybe channel some messages that will help them, and give some guidance so that they can experience some more peace and joy in their life. And that's become one of the most important things to me as I get older, is that I just want a little more peace and joy. The bells and the whistles and the cash and prizes are great. Um, but the main thing is that I can sleep at night. I can look at myself in the mirror, and I can exhale and just feel a little peace and experience some joy about life. And I think that's just so important, y'all. I think it keeps me young, and I think that it just is going to prolong my life the more I focus on having a little peace and joy. And there's so many people who don't. You know, I'm very grateful that I've learned to watch my thinking, because my peace and my joy really start with my thoughts. You know, what am I telling myself? What kind of old belief system am I playing an old tape of? And or am I being a critical parent to myself internally and criticizing myself about something, or just judging myself or others, and just changing my thoughts, changing my thought pattern to something more positive, focus on gratitude, or just something that's more kind to myself and other people, and kind of being that coach to myself. It's an important thing to practice, and it's a real skill and an art to learn. And I started that journey a long time ago. I started on the spiritual path when I was a 21-year-old kid, and trying to find a new way of life. I just wasn't happy in college and partying a lot, and I just found myself in sort of a dead end and not happy. And then I eventually just took a break from college and met some people that were on a spiritual path and started to learn some of these tools about gratitude and watching my thoughts and paying attention to the inner dialogue that was going on in me and also the judgment that outwardly was going on with me and the rest of the human race. And I started to practice um, watching my thoughts and to focus on being of service and getting out of myself and that selfishness, that self-centeredness that we all have, that I definitely have and had a lot more back then. And I've practiced to focus on other people and to try and help them and to make a difference in their lives. And it feels good. And it makes me feel like life is more fulfilling. I have no idea what I'm saying right now. I'm just talking, trying to get used to being in front of the camera. And I don't think it's as important what I'm saying as that I'm just saying something and something that I think will help people. Um, and yeah, I like to guide people and coach them and pass on whatever knowledge was passed on to me and to give them some opportunities to have epiphanies or aha moments. And one of them that I'd like to pass on right now, I had a spiritual advisor who said to me years ago that in any situation, it's either or It's that simple. It's either or So if you take anything from this video, maybe it's just that whenever you are going through a challenge, whether it's a person, place, or thing, that the answer is either or And that has helped me. It continues to help me to keep it simple and focus on that. And our intuition, our gut is so strong. It's about listening to it. And there are so many times in my life where my intuition was saying and I was like, oh, I think it's and then I learned it was or the opposite. I was like, I don't think I'm going to resonate with that, or I'm going to say no. And my intuition was saying, yeah, yeah, do it. And eventually I did. And it really was a really great experience. And it was very valuable that I actually said yes. So, a suggestion to practice listening to your intuition, practice listening to what your gut is telling you. And our intuition is a great guide for all of us. And it's sort of that GPS within us that can lead us to more peace and joy. See what I did? Kind of dovetail with that whole idea. I think I'm catching on to how to do this. So the funny thing is that I've been having people say for years for me to get in front of the camera and talk because sometimes when I talk to a client or I'm talking to a friend, I feel like what I'm saying is meant for like 1,000 people or more. And that's what kind of inspired me to have the courage to go live tonight and to do this recording. And the other thing is that I find that stepping outside my comfort zone, that's where the good stuff is. And this is getting outside my comfort zone. I had a podcast for a couple of years with a friend of mine, and we did a great job. And it was a podcast that was really about life. It was sort of life coaching and spiritual guidance and emotional guidance and just sort of giving people a place to whatever challenge you were going through, you could probably find an episode about it. We did like 100 episodes. It was a great experience. And I'm fine in front of the mic. I was a voiceover actor for a while, and I did some radio as well and podcast. But to be in front of the camera, it's a whole other animal. And I'm just trying to get used to it and just be myself. And yeah, I think I've learned to have confidence in my message and what I'm trying to say. And it's important, I think, especially as we grow older, I think we learn who we are, we get more comfortable with who we are, and have some peace and acceptance about who we are. And I know when I was younger, I was much more concerned with how I looked and being hip, slick, and cool. And and again, focused on how I looked to everybody and what they thought about me. And now I'm much more inspired to listen to the calling that I have from the universe to do psychic life coaching and to be the psychic medium and life coach that I am. And it's not so much what people think about it, it's that I'm being of service. And that is guiding a lot of my life right now, is to be of service. And yeah, as far as me, I live in New Jersey, and I am also a songwriter. And I grew up in New York and in New Jersey, and kind of moved around a bit as a kid. And then eventually, as um, a, an adult in his 30s, I ended up in Brooklyn, living there for a long time. And I was trying to be a voiceover actor during the day, auditioning, and then catering at night for gigs. And I did that for a while. And after a while, I finally decided to go back to songwriting. I'd written songs, I don't know, like 25, 30 years ago. I picked up a guitar and wrote some poems, like songs, and I put chords to the words, and I started to become a songwriter. And then I just put down the guitar for a while. So years ago, I got back to songwriting, and I channel these songs. I don't even know where they come from, y'all. And it's such an honor, excuse me, and a great experience to write a song. I have a buddy of mine who's a great songwriter, and we talk about how it's wonderful that we have the ability to write a song. But so eventually, I decided to sort of focus on songwriting full time, and I moved to Austin right before the shutdown in 2019, and my goal was to go there and write songs and record songs and just get into the music scene there. I know enough guitar to write a song, some basic chords, but I like what I can do with the guitar, what I can do. And Yeah, and so I went to Austin, and I was this, uh, New York kid going to the South and going to Texas, and just learning that way of life there. And I met some really great people, and I wrote some really great songs that I love, that I still am going to put out to the world. And and then this is practice, y'all. Just so you know, I'm practicing. So in case you were confused, no, I'm just talking. But anyway, so yeah, so I did record some first songs of mine, a Christmas song, a Thanksgiving song. I wrote a song for Ukraine when the war started, how I could help them, and and then and then I eventually moved from Austin. I realized I wasn't a Texan. I love Austin. Great tacos there. There's this truck, a food truck in Austin. There's several trucks, but the place is called Veracruz, and these Veracruz taco trucks are all over Austin. And I used to love to get Veracruz Migas tacos, which are their breakfast tacos. And it's like a tortilla with egg and cheese and avocado. And then they put these little tortilla chips in it, and it tastes like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're the most delicious breakfast tacos I've ever had. And just it's worth it to go to Austin just for that. But I experienced the music scene there, and the Continental Club, and Sea Boys on South Congress, and then I found eventually Sam's Town Point, which is like an old honky tonk there. And really, I lived in South Austin at the time, and I got into the old Austin music scene, and some of the hippies there, and just the nature. It was just a wonderful place to live. And again, I wrote some really good songs. I was very inspired there. But eventually, I moved. I decided to go to North Carolina, and I went to Wilmington, North Carolina, about 10 minutes to the beach. And I loved living there. It was just so great. And I'm probably going back there eventually. Um, and Yeah, I recorded a song in Wilmington, and I wrote some there. And then eventually I just had this calling to come back to Jersey. My mom's gotten a little bit older, and it was time to come home. My stepfather's gotten a little bit older, and just be by them. And again, be of service, help out. and help family. So I've been back a couple of years now, and it's been a little disorienting and challenging to acclimate to being back in the Northeast. I really enjoyed the South. Um, when I was in my 20s, another story, but I ended up in Tampa. And so I lived in Tampa, it can be the deep South. Parts of Tampa are very Southern. And I learned y'all there like 30 years ago. And so I've been saying y'all for a long time. So when I got to Austin and North Carolina, I felt like I fit in just with a little bit of Southern drawl and saying y'all. I loved how people in both places would say morning, and Austin, especially, I would go into a food co-op there called Wheatsville, and I'd be getting breakfast tacos or something, and some guy be walking out and say, "Morning, brother." He'd say, "Hey, brother, have a good day." And I just love that humanity. It was one reason why I left New York City. I New York City is a great place, but I outgrew the lack of humanity. I outgrew the hustle and the bustle and people pushing their way into the subway. And um, in my 20s and 30s, it was fine. Even in my 40s, but I just kind of outgrew it and it was time to leave. And I was glad I did. And, now I live in the suburbs in Jersey. And it's been interesting. This isn't where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. And I'm a single guy. I didn't think I'd be single at this point, but I always had a feeling as a late bloomer that love would find me later in life. I've experienced love, I've had some nice relationships, but as far as meeting a soulmate and settling down into a marriage and a home, I always had a feeling that would find me later in life. I think spirit and the universe had other plans for me, and it was to be of service and be available to be of service in other ways, not have kids, not get into a marriage until later. And I've been able to do that, work on projects and write songs, and just sometimes just listen to someone talk. And that's such a spiritual act in and of itself. So I've been able to do that and help people. And, so I trust the universe more than ever. Spirit has shown me over and over that they have my back, and that the universe has my back, and that it's about that relationship that I have with spirit, that relationship that I have with a higher power, whatever you may call it. And I just practice that one day at a time to kind of just realize that I am being taken care of and I'm going to get all my needs met. And it's about me doing my best to make a difference and to help people and to, again, enjoy life a bit. And that is worthwhile in and of itself. When I was in my early 20s, I just want to be rich and famous, especially famous. I was focused on being an actor at the time. And I thought that fame would make me feel good about myself. Fame would fill that God-sized hole in me up. And I thought fame would help me get, a really great girlfriend, or it would just make me happy. And it's something that I think a lot of artists, especially people in the um, the um, the performing arts, think about, fame and what if that happened. And I just had this sort of immature perspective of it, that it again just take away any self-hate or low self-esteem, make me feel better about myself. And the more that eventually, when I was trying to do voiceovers as a living, the more that I was in studios auditioning or actually booking jobs and doing the work, the more I saw that it wasn't about the fame, it was about the work itself and enjoying the work. And again, being of service, putting out, um, doing a good audition, even not even booking the job, but showing up for the audition and being present for it and following direction and giving the director what they wanted or the casting person what they wanted, so I could be of service to the client that was trying to hire a voice actor. And then if I booked the job, showing up early and being prepared and doing the best I could. And I think that's just part of age. We let go of certain things that we think are going to make us feel better, and we start to realize what really does make us feel better. And it certainly isn't focusing on myself all the time and what I want or my agenda or my ego. It's more about focusing on um, what I can do to provide a good service. And maybe if it's a project, I'm working on a good product and to offer something to the world that's going to help people and to make them feel better. A lot of people right now are in fear and they have no idea what's going to happen as far as this planet and a lot of the fighting that's going on. And so I find that it's very valuable to bring a little light and love and spirituality for, just to put that out there, just a little spiritual approach, a bird's eye view that the universe knows what's going on the earth. And that the main thing right now that I found is that a lot of us are being called to speak up and to support each other and have more community. I find the community is really healing so much these days. And that's what I'm trying to do on this channel, provide a little community for all of us to connect in a kind way, in a fun way, and to sort of lighten up a little bit and enjoy even interacting with each other and support each other and to inspire each other. So hopefully I can do that and we can do that here. And if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. I'm looking to build my subscribers and just build this community. And so yeah, so now I'm in Jersey, and I realized it was time to get a new place, and I was looking at apartments here. And as someone who was focused on songwriting for a while, I'm pitching to Nashville at times, and I realized that it was like winning the lottery trying to sell a song. And so I pivoted to really go full time being a psychic life coach. And so I've started to do readings and crystal shops in the area I live in and help people that way. And also just expand my clientele, my business, joined a website to do psychic readings on, and that's increasing. And just, having private clients that I'm meeting through networking and word of mouth and just trying to help them being a psychic medium. I've done it for a while. I always did on the side when I was trying to do voiceovers or other things. I always had like clients here and there, but now I'm really going full time and being much more public about it, kind of coming out of the closet about being a psychic medium. I think as a guy, I just felt, um, I don't know, a little insecure. Again, I was concerned about what people would think, and I know people think that the woo is kind of crazy and strange. And for me, it's kind of normal, connecting to a spiritual plane that I believe I came from, that I'm going to go back to, and just trying to be a channel, whether I channel a song or channel a message. I find it's a spiritual experience, and again, it's a real honor to do. So pivoting into being a full-time psychic life coach, part of it is getting on this channel and sharing about it here. And at the same time, just having the day-to-day stuff like finding a new place to live. And so I was looking for an apartment, and um, a part of me was kind of going on the cheap because the market here, when I was in Texas and North Carolina, I mean, I live 10 minutes to the beach in North Carolina in Wilmington. And, I was paying under 2 grand, like 1,700, 1,600 for an apartment, and nice 1 bedroom apartment that was remodeled, washer and dryer the place. I had a pool to go to and, a hiking path, walking path nearby. Um, and then I get back to the Jersey area, and because I'm close to New York City, like 45 minutes away, I mean, I had sticker shock for a while. And so a part of me, part of my soul's growth and the lesson that I chose, one of the lessons I chose as a soul in this life, because I believe as a soul, I chose this family to incarnate into and be with these other souls in this family and learn and grow, or have coworkers or friends or chosen family in my life for a reason. And I believe as a soul that I chose and agreed with these other souls, soul contracts to meet up in this lifetime. That I'm Rob, and I do believe in past lives, and I do believe in reincarnation, and we can choose to come back to Earth or maybe some other place we want to incarnate into to learn and grow. And so, yeah, I chose these certain lessons, and one of them is to live in more abundance. And when I was growing up, we were middle class, and I got enough, and I was grateful for that. But as far as having a lot of abundance in my life, that's always been a new experience for me, and to acclimate to that and allow it, and to feel like I deserve it. And whatever past life challenges I had with money or taking a vow of poverty as a priest, maybe, or as a spiritual worker, I've had to acclimate to being open to abundance and welcoming abundance. And I've gotten a lot better at it. I mean, I feel like I have a very abundant life as far as spiritually, um, emotionally, and fellowship wise. I have a lot of brothers and sisters in my life who I love and care about, and I'm grateful for them. And I have a lot of abundance creatively in my life. Just I'm working on a song now, and it's just such a wonderful experience. But as far as monetarily, financially, that is something that I've always been growing more and more to welcome. And so when I was looking at an apartment and having sticker shock, a part of me kind of wanted to go on the cheap, save the money here and there. And and I had this message, just my intuition kept saying to me, my own spirit guides kept saying to me, get the apartment you want, we will get you the money. And so that was the agreement. I was like, all right. And I almost went for an apartment that was a little less on the cheap and giving up the washer and dryer in the apartment. And I was like, yeah, I'm too old to take my laundry to the basement to do my laundry there. I've learned to really love having a washer and dryer in my apartment. In New York City, y'all, most of the apartments don't have a washer and dryer, and you do your laundry in the basement there, which is fine, or a laundromat. But I've learned over the last several years that I've really enjoyed having a washer and dryer in the place that I live again, and putting on a Met game or some music and just enjoying doing my laundry. Again, finding a little joy even in that part of life where I can do laundry and enjoy it a little bit. And I'm usually trying to focus on stuff like that. I had many years where, especially as a teenager and then as a young man, where I went through depression and had to do a lot of work in therapy to go through that grieving and thaw those feelings that were frozen in me for a while, and express those feelings rather than repress them, and just heal a lot of that depression and be lighter. And I think I'm the lightest Rob I've ever been. So, yeah, I'm usually trying to focus on the solution or the positive, or trying to find a little gratitude or joy about it. And there are days, some days where I can't, and I'm very frustrated or angry or sad. And I allow that too, because I'm a full human being. So I found a place that was a little more, and it had the washer and dryer, and it was remodeled, and it was in a very quiet area, which I appreciate. I like quiet because in the morning I take time to meditate in the quiet and listen to the silence and connect to my intuition, and sometimes hear my intuition, and connect to spirit that way. And it's a great way for me to start my day. And this place is going to be a good place to do that. Um, and I feel like spirit led me to this place. And it's by the Watchung Reservation in New Jersey here. And the Watchung Reservation is a great place to go hiking, a lot of nature. And I have a Native American spirit guide who I'm sure helped me find this place right by a reservation, and to be by that Native American energy that I resonate with. Pretty sure I was a Native American in several lifetimes in the past. So I've always resonated with that culture and some of the traditions, and just the simplicity, and really the gratitude for the earth and its inhabitants that Native Americans have. So God bless Native Americans And God bless Americans in general, and God bless the world. We could all use some blessings. So yeah, moving to this place in a couple of weeks and getting ready, and decide to stay in Jersey a year at a time and just be around for family, see what happens. And I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be for now. And just a lesson to other Gen Xers out there that maybe you're at a place in your life like me where you didn't think you'd be in that place right now, or have different details happening than you may have thought were happening or your plan was. But it may be that you're right where you're supposed to be. And I think as Gen Xers, we were taught um, to kind of go by the corporate line, get a 9 to 5 job, stay in our lane, clock in, clock out, you know, get married, have kids, a white picket fence, and maybe it didn't work out that way, and that's okay. You know, we're seeing from other generations, especially the younger people, that are just so naturally courageous and kind of step outside their comfort zone all the time and feel like they just have a sort of a healthy self-esteem that of course they're going to be in front of a camera and talk because they have things they want to say. And so it's something that I've actually learned from younger generations to have courage and to have the fear and do it anyway. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm just doing it. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful to just be sharing part of my story tonight, and grateful for you listening, and maybe becoming a part of this community. Um, and I feel much lighter this year. Last year was a tough year, learning a lot of lessons. And whenever I'm going through anything, I ask the universe, what is the lesson? What do you want me to learn here? And so last year I learned a lot. And part of it was not to have black and white thinking. I kind of fell into some old ways of having extreme thinkings about things, and realizing that there are more colors to it, and to not throw out the baby with the bathwater, and to be more flexible and go with the flow of things. And also to um, just, make effort and not uh, keep score about if the person's reciprocating so much, or whatever they're doing, just to keep offering my support and reaching out to people because I can. Some people are not great at reaching out, and to be more of a forgiving person, which I'm constantly trying to do, is to forgive human beings for being human. And it's tough being a human being. And it's like that expression, um, be gentle with everyone you meet because they're fighting an enormous battle. And that's something that I try and remember day to day, is that everyone has their own challenges, and most people are doing the best they can. And some people are completely unconscious to their behavior. And it doesn't mean that if they're toxic or negative or abusive or neglectful, that I have to be around it much, if at all, but that I can forgive them. I have my own uh, mistakes I make, and blind spots, and things that I'm trying to get better at, and just be a part of the human race is what I'm trying to do every day. And so yeah, last year was challenging. You may have heard the Chinese zodiac. I think for last year was the year of the snake. I really felt that way, shedding some old skin. And like Peter Gabriel says in Sledgehammer, shed my skin. This is the new stuff. I go dancing in it. So I feel like I'm dancing much more this year. I can sing a lot better, but I didn't think I'd sing tonight. But yeah, so I'm feeling lighter this year, but I also have much more focus and energy and passion and taking action, like tonight, like doing this video. And this is the year of the fire horse, and I definitely feel that. Just again, much more of a higher frequency, higher energy, higher vibe. And it's been a lot easier this year to take actions, to get momentum, and to really step outside my comfort zone and take more chances. And so hopefully if you're not feeling that, you will feel that this year. I think it's a sort of a um, a general thing externally for all of us that we're feeling, and then internally as well, that we're just feeling this drive, and that the universe is calling us to do certain things and to be of service and help people and make a difference. And that's definitely what I'm trying to do. So, with that, it's been really good to again introduce myself. I am Rob Kay. I'm a psychic life coach, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.